Hello, good people. How you doing? It's SNN. That means it's Street News Now. It's you, it's the panel, it's us, it's everybody. We get involved. We do this every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 8 p.m. Central Time, and 6 p.m. on the West Coast, where you join us. And make sure you go to YouTube, of course, and type in SNN Street News Now. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and make sure you share. Also, join us via Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch. And so usually it's six guys and you, but we're breaking up right now because, well, we're not breaking like the Temptations. We're not doing something like that. But pretty much we're all scattered all over the place. So our fearless leader, Lee Michaels, on assignment. Also on assignment, Professor Reggie Miles. So I'm going to bring in my cohort, Dr. Ron Ford. Now, Buck Wild and Mike Love will join us momentarily. But right now we're going to keep it going as they will join us in scant mementos. Dr. Ron, how you doing?
Doing fine. What's up? How you doing, man?
Man, I can't call it, man. I'm still walking the earth like Kane and Kung Fu. And let me tell you what, before Dr. Ron says, he states the obvious. Because I know since I've known him, he got this mantra, I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm like, I'm talking to you over the phone. I know you're still alive. So there we go.
Yeah, that's it. But it's a story behind that.
Yes, it is.
It's a real story.
This dude, man, I'm telling you, I keep telling you, one day, I know you told it in bits and pieces on your show, the Ask Dr. Ron show every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central via Facebook Live. But I'm telling you, the stories this man has, I'm telling you, it is amazing. So, yeah, one day you better to share some stories, Doctor, but that's if you want to. I mean, I think you should.
Well, they'll slip out over time. I'm trying to wait on the movie deal. When I get the movie deal, then they'll all pop in, like, oh, now I understand, like that song, since the professor ain't here tonight, I'm gonna relate to a song. Now I remember.
I'm scared to ask, who would you get to portray you, sir?
Oh, man. That's a good question, man. A lot of people throughout my career said I look like Uncle Phil. Well, since he dead already, we can't use him.
Well, we could, but that wouldn't make any sense.
I know that's right, brother.
We ain't gonna use Uncle Phil, no.
Yeah, so somebody that would resemble, Uncle Phil. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because and then it's got to be a younger version of Uncle Phil. So it's gonna be difficult. I just say it ain't gonna be easy to fill my old shoes.
Well, yeah.
Or should I say my young shoes?
Your young shoes, yeah.
Yeah. You got it. Yep.
There you go. Absolutely. So again, we're waiting on Buck Wild and Mike Love. They'll be on with us momentarily. So once again, welcome in to everybody out here in the comment section, the comment love section, because all we do is, put it out there for people to respond in kind and definitely let your feelings show. So here's the deal. So I was coming across the topic for my time right now, and I had to go over a few things. So I'm trying to see everybody. Hey, Buck and Mike, you're good now? I'll see, hopefully you can hear me. Okay, they still talk. I'm gonna bring them on anyway, see what happens. If not, then I'll put them back in the zone. So let's see. So here's Mike Love. What's up, man?
You got it. How are you?
Good. Also, the Buck Wild or Buck Wild.
I'm here. I just see you guys twice.
Yeah, we can hear. We can hear both of y'all twice.
Let me see why.
Okay.
I
think it's a Dr. Ron conspiracy.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. He took a magic marker and typed on my computer, and now I'm in stress, and no one will listen to me.
Well, you're not in. I was going to say you're not in echo, but somebody is. Can you see who it is?
Does it sound like me? I'm in echo.
No, only when I talk.
Okay.
Let's
see. Say something, Buck.
I'm checking. Oh, I think it's me. Hold on.
Okay.
He's had those same glasses for about 35 years. And I'm not sure if they complement his look if there's a reason that he has those, you know, because the size of his cranium is larger than most mammals. And I'm not sure.
So Chris is coming double. Ron, say something.
Something.
You're coming double. Mike's not coming double though. Talk, Mike.
Hey.
Yeah, Mike's not. Just say it once, Mike.
Okay, hey.
Yeah. So Mike's not double. I'm double. That's weird. I guess because I was helping Mike. I'm gonna refresh my browser and come right back in.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Bye.
It's still there.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys fantastic.
It's still there.
Yeah, it is.
You guys hear double?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Okay. We'll try it. Okay.
Yeah.
Buck is back. Yes. Do you hear double, Buck?
No. Yes.
You still? Yeah. Wow.
It's coming where?
Did you guys hear double when I logged out?
I don't hear double.
Nope. You didn't hear it. Is your other computer on now? Mike, are you out of that?
No, the other one is off. Yeah.
Okay.
We should not be having these problems. Let me see. Microphone. Okay, I'm gonna log out and try to fix whatever I can fix. And come back.
All right.
Okay.
What about now?
All right. I mean, I don't hear double with you guys. You guys are still hearing double from me?
Yeah, I do. I hear myself back at.
Yeah. So
hold on. Check something. I didn't do nothing. Y'all the one man was.
It's our fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all the settings on my board is, like I said, if I turn off this one piece, then you guys won't be able. I can't hear you, but I can hear myself. Say that one more time. Okay, now something's really weird.
Something's really weird.
Okay, now that's better.
Okay, that's better.
What about you, Chris?
I'm still hearing double.
Wow.
Okay. Why don't you mute my mic as if it's me?
I'm trying to get them.
We need that little thing, you know, like they used to put on TV when they had technical difficulties. They had the Indian guy.
Yeah. Are you?
All right, you went out. I didn't hear any of this. Says, "Are you?"
I got Ron's mic removed.
Okay. And you're getting double from me.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay.
So let me hold on a second. Putting Ron back on.
Hello.
Hi, Ron.
Well, hello, Mike. Okay, my audio is normal now, so I must be Christian.
All right.
Yeah. Chris is causing me out of the loop.
Well, he's got himself muted currently.
Yeah, that's why we don't hear it.
Okay. I mean, and you're not.
If you just joined us, we are fixing some technical difficulties here.
Yeah, they can see that.
Huh?
He said they can see that.
See and hear that.
Yeah. Well, just let them know that we know we're not in the room, so we're not going to act up.
Yeah, I mean, all the MFs and your mom and your daddy, you know, all of that stuff has been put in the bag, and we're gonna act like adults on this show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me
Mark do a hard reboot of the system.
Okay, I'm gonna come back. I'll come back in.
Okay.
All right, so it's just you and I, Ron.
Yes, sir. Here. And it says live in the left-hand corner.
So that means we're live. Street news now.
Yeah. Myself. I don't know. Interesting. Well, Mike pertaining to people as well.
All right. So on Street News Now, you know, one of the things that has interested me this week in the news was the I guess, I don't know if it was in the Senate or the House of Representatives talking about the whistleblower for Facebook. And I don't have all the details of everything that's going on, but I thought it was pretty ironic that at this time and place that they would get the total blame of what's going on. Now, from the bits and pieces that I heard, I think they seriously believe that Facebook is targeting young adults, young kids, not adults, young kids to be a part of their product. And I'm not sure about that. I'm not one to point a finger or make a reference to what Facebook does. And we're on it, you know, it's probably where you're watching us right now. But one of the things that I didn't really believe that was fair in the situation was the mere fact that this can't all be put on Facebook. You know, you got to start talking about streaming media devices. Okay. The one or two times that I've been in the cell phone carrier store that I go to support the product that I carry, I've seen adults in there with their children, and these children look like probably somewhere between 10 and 12 years of age. And they come in and say they need cell phones. Now, of course, I'm 64 years old, and when I was coming up, there were no cell phones. We were lucky to get a bike, you know. And the thing of it is, when parents feel that their children need it, I mean, and they have reasonable excuses. You know, some say, well, you know, I don't get off until 4:30, 5 o'clock. The kids get home at 3:30. I want to make sure that they get in the house safe and everything's okay. So you hear different excuses for why the kids need cell phones. But the problem is you're not monitoring what they're watching or what they're doing with that cell phone. So I don't know how this whistleblower or how this whole argument starts first with Facebook, when most of the time, if they're listening to any streaming media platforms, they're coming from cell phones. And so maybe if you're going to regulate who monitors or who uses these platforms and they're underage or they're not old enough to handle it, then maybe we need to go back to the devices. And that's only one avenue. What about desktops? And what about laptops? And what about iPads? You know, we have access to so many products out there to reach social media that I'm not sure. That's why I said, if I'm wrong, I stand corrected. We'll take your comments. You know, put something in the comment box. If I don't get it, if I'm handling this situation wrong or the thoughts of what I'm seeing, I'd love to hear it, because I'm just totally lost at the fact that you would totally be talking about Facebook being the problem when you don't talk about the phones. You don't talk about iPads and other streaming media devices that give you access to that platform. So my cohorts are back: Dr. Ron, Buck Wild, and of course, Chris Bass.
So what was your point again?
I'm trying to figure out what the whole situation was with the whistleblower with Facebook, and whether this was with the House of Representatives or the Senate. You know, they went live and took over the TV a couple of days ago, and trying to make an issue about underage children, having access to Facebook and Facebook targeting these youngsters for different product matters.
It's really more about Instagram.
Okay, and it could be. Doesn't Facebook own Instagram?
They do. But
okay.
Only old people on Facebook, like us.
Okay, well, that's okay. I'll be old and be on Facebook. So what is but once again, you can't get on Instagram without going through a streaming media device or a desktop at your home. Mm-hmm, correct? Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
Okay. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we're still getting a real bad talkback. Are we seeing Facebook really getting blown out in public behind the scenes? Is there a darker sinister thing going on? That's a question.
The darker sinister isn't just with Facebook. It's a part of the marketing scheme that we live with today. As these companies try to build funnels to reach people, I mean, you're inundated with telemarketers. I have about 42 different domain names. And so the company that I'm with obviously sells that information. So if I get a new domain name, all of a sudden I'm inundated with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 calls a day minimum, trying to get web development service from me. And they never asked me. I don't remember signing any terms of agreement that says you can sell my name and my phone number to a company to call to ask me, can they build me a website? Oh, we see that you have a new domain name, and we want to know if we can help you build. No. And I try to be as nice as possible. I say, I want to thank you for calling, but we already have a web development team, and we really appreciate it. Now, some will say, okay, thank you. Others will try to outtalk you, and the majority of them will honestly just hang up the phone.
Yeah. The when I mean Facebook went off the air for now. So is that a threat to the world saying that you mess with us, we will cancel everything that you have grown to depend on?
Well, I think some of it could have been Facebook trying to say, let's see for the next 6 hours how your life will be. I don't think that they're that petty. I think that for 6 hours, they went in and made some adjustments that was a protective form for them. Whatever they had to do, because now, you got people spying on them. And so I think the team decided to shut it down. Let's look at all the avenues, everything that's in here, and whatever we need to turn off, let's turn it off. And when we turn this back on, you no longer have access.
Right. So the other thing would be a lot of us that's on this show depend on social media for broadcasting. Are we capable and willing to find other outlets other than the one that depended on?
Well, that starts to talk about reach. And Chris can jump in if he has some suggestions as well. I mean, when you start talking about streaming, the most successful streaming medium, obviously, is the Facebook brand, which includes Instagram, followed up by Twitter and other marketing tools that are out there. So if there's someone else out there that has a product, then there are other products. They just don't have the reach that this company has endured. I mean, Chris, what do you think?
Well, I think like anything else, when you talk about streaming, how much we rely on it, how we cultivate our lives. I think we also realize that when it was shut down, we shut down. We went on hold. And for those of us there was we didn't have social media to survive.
Right.
Without it. And I think that has to be taught. If you just think about it, just in case something goes down. Because everything we get through our lives is on a device.
No doubt.
Our phone numbers, back in the day, you could remember phone numbers and addresses. And you didn't have navigation in that situation.
That's right.
So I have no idea what happens with certain people when everything shuts down. But I do know that they look into what to do just in case this goes off. And also the fact that it's not the end of the world. There has to be some sort of understanding that it's your life, but it doesn't have to be all of your life. And so there's also other ways to look into communication. Once again, people who communicate and we use phones and devices. We've moved on from the days of old. At the same time, we should have understanding that when it comes to social media, it should not take over who we are. And certain people, I think it's like training for the generation that came into the internet. that were born into this. So that's what I looked at on Monday. How do you survive? And so I was concerned like you and anybody else. You have platforms that you use via social media or Facebook or whatever. And I wonder about your opinion of what could happen if, like Dr. Ron, myself, and everybody else, you do a program, you have a talk show, and all of a sudden, it could just disappear just like that, had it not been retrieved. So where do you go from there? I think hopefully look into that. Maybe you start looking to creating your own streaming services. So that way you be more in control and not to rely on Facebook and Twitter or Instagram. That's also a lot of millennials are very strong-headed when it comes to individual businesses. So why not have that?
Well, is it affordable? I think that's the question. What do you think, Ron? Is it affordable for someone to try to make an investment like Facebook or Twitter, or any of these other platforms to compete, first of all, with them, and secondly, to have a different form?
Well, I think we need to be prepared. Because when you have someone that has that much control over social media, the way that Facebook, Instagram, and outlets have, that's too much control. You know, so we gotta get Mike. Mute your mic for a second. Go look into look into the control center there and hit your mic. Because I'm hearing myself back at me. Or maybe Chris did it.
I was just telling Mike to turn down all the pods except for his mic.
Yeah.
So bad on text.
Okay, so there's only one other one that's up, and if I turn that off or turn it down, I can't hear you guys.
Got you.
Okay. Well, try real quick. Check.
So we can see
all of them are down.
Right, it's off.
Whoa, so it's not that.
But I think it's his mic.
To take it off the multi-channel.
All right, that's what I was doing now. I was going to take it off the multi-channel and go back to the.
Okay. Do we have the echo? No, I don't hear it. Do you hear it, Chris?
He turned off now. He got off.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah.
It was definitely coming from Mike.
Okay,
somehow
so
we just didn't know how.
He's getting a feedback. He's getting a loop somewhere. What I was saying was that Facebook suspended my Facebook account about 2-3 weeks ago, and for no reason. They just took me completely off the air, and there was no questions to ask anyone to get an answer on how to solve this problem. Like, why did you take me off? And it was crazy because I was trying to get an answer from them where I violated in order to be put on hold.
Oh yeah, you can't call Facebook, bro.
You can't call them. You can't send an email. You can't text. So you're just totally at the discretion of somebody somewhere in the world that pushed the wrong button. And then they have a section that says what your violation is. And then on that section, it says you have no violations. So I'm like, okay, then why can I not post? It was a 3-day suspension, and which they brought me back in 2 days, from being that way. And I knew then, before this 6-hour vacation they took yesterday took place, I'm like, okay, I got to start planning another outlet for what I do. And that's what I started to do, plan another outlet.
Good for you.
Because
what was the outlet?
Well, I'm going to be doing more with YouTube than I was before.
See, YouTube actually pays you when you start generating.
But still, you just want to make sure that your product is available, and then I can still post it in various places. But the bottom line is, I'm not going to be held hostage by them. I'm not going to allow myself to be held hostage by them. you know, and I'm like, okay, I will continue to post, you know, on Twitter, on Instagram, certain things, and on Facebook, because I got 2 Facebook. I got a Ask Dr. Ron page, business page, and then I've got I still have the my personal page, which gets more attention than my business page. So I mean, you know, I'm going to continue to post products, you know, which is my show on those channels. I'm not going to continue to rely on them 100%.
Do you know Facebook only allows 15% of your friends to see your posts anyway?
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Facebook only allows 15% of your friends to see your posts.
Yes.
That's maximum. Yes. Sometimes it's less than that.
Unless you pay.
They don't even let you pay anymore.
Yeah, no, you can pay.
Only if you're a business you can pay. You can't do it on a personal page.
And what are you paying for?
You
just let all your friends see it.
They call it boost.
Oh, boost.
But only if you have a business page. They won't let you do it on the They used to let you do it on the personal page, but not anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now that we know that there's a chink in the armor, you know, who wants to keep riding that car knowing at any given moment that they can pull the plug on you, you know, and realistically, you know, mess up your rhythm, your flow, your programming whenever they feel like it.
But it's theirs. It's not.
I was just going to say that, Mike. Thank you.
It's theirs.
It's theirs. That's exactly right.
And that's the problem.
They can do whatever they want.
Rely on them 100% without expecting them to do whatever they do. Okay, so that 6 hours, I think, was a shot across the bow of everybody publicly to let them know, look, see what the world would be like if we pull Facebook away from the world. This
didn't have any effect on me.
Well, me neither, not in that way. You know,
it was only 5 hours though, too.
Yeah, 5-6 hours makes no difference. You know, some people lost their damn mind. I was looking at the local news here in Chicago, and they were talking about businesses that have built their entire existence around Facebook. So they couldn't do any promotion, no advertisement, could not receive no orders.
For 5 whole hours. Oh, my goodness.
That's a day shot. Okay.
It was in the middle. It was late afternoon, though. It wasn't like that.
But if you embedded your existence inside of Facebook or Instagram, you're vulnerable.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
They didn't have a website. Those businesses that were complaining.
You didn't hear a word I said.
So they did not have websites.
Exactly what I said.
Well, even if they did, they totally depended on Facebook to throw them a lifeline.
Right, and that should have been a wake-up call, as
Dr. Exactly.
That should have been a clarion call. It goes back to the scene from Malcolm X when Brother Johnson was beat down, and the officers come out and tell Malcolm X he'll be all right. Does the move with one hand, one finger, everybody disperses. And then white police officer said there's too much power for one man to have. And relate that to Facebook. It's just too much power. So when you look at that shutdown, again, it could be an eye-opener, which it was for me. So now I'm looking at other places to take my show elsewhere, whether it's YouTube or anything else. I did scratch my noggin and doing what he knows. Hey, wait a minute, I might have to rethink this Facebook stuff. And again, I'm kind of glad it happened because now it gives the charge to look for other places to take the show to. I mean, I'm still thinking about that.
All right, well, let's think about this for a minute. MySpace. How did MySpace lose their edge?
Facebook, that's how.
Okay, but I mean, at what point did the algorithms for the developers to create, how did they lose that? They were already miles ahead of Facebook. It was almost like, did Facebook buy MySpace?
No, they opened it up.
What do you mean they opened it up?
Facebook used to be only for students. You had to have a .edu.
Right. Well, that's what Zuckermeyer, whatever he's doing, designed it for. It was for on campus to let you know what the parties were.
But once they opened it up, everybody wanted to get on it because they were like, oh, We can all get on Facebook now because it was something you couldn't have. All of a sudden, since you could have it, then everybody wanted it.
Okay, well, I'm getting ready to ask a stupid ass question. Okay.
Cool.
The SAQ. Can you still get on MySpace?
I think so.
Yeah. Everybody got quiet. It's like
I had a MySpace account.
Everybody did.
Yeah, you know, and at one point in time, I think I checked to double check to make sure that my password still works, to make sure I didn't get hacked and somebody was being me on MySpace. But you know, one thing about when MySpace came along, it was an introduction into internet social media.
Was it?
Okay? Yeah, because everybody started acting socially on the internet because of MySpace.
But you don't remember Black Planet was before that.
Well, they did, but
the Black Planet. But come on, stop. Ron,
What?
I apologize for anything.
Black Planet was.
Are you crazy?
Black Planet was the first one,
crazy?
bro. It was the first one, Mike. Seriously, you don't remember?
No competition. All I want to say is nothing against the people at Black Planet. Black Planet was basically set up to be a dating site.
It was.
Was it? No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. It was social media, and it was like a very first social media
dating.
It was social media.
Well,
dating.
you could date. You could like.
It was not. It was not meant to.
It wasn't a dating site.
It was.
Hey, you know why I say it wasn't a dating site? You know why it wasn't a dating a site? Because they would have charged for it from Jump Street, and they didn't. Dating sites you always charge.
Okay, what you just said, and you know I love you like a play cousin. Didn't make any damn sense.
Okay.
What you just said, it was a dating site.
Match ain't free. eHarmony ain't free.
But
Black Planet was free.
Talking about how
you just forgotten.
Later.
See, you got Alzheimer's. You just forgot.
I do have that, but it didn't go that far. You actually don't have it, and you're portraying that you're going to get it.
I'm telling you, it would Mike. It was not a dating site at first. People did use it to
I don't know if
try
it
to
was
holler.
a dating site at first or not.
No, they used it to holler, but
so why do you think they called it Black Planet?
I don't know.
Because it was targeted at African Americans.
You think?
Okay. So you just isolated a situation that was never going to be a direct competitor when you only going after black folks.
There was no direct competitor. They were the first.
Okay.
There was no direct.
I have to be totally honest with you.
And then MySpace came.
Okay. Well, let me say this to you because I don't know who came first. The
chicken or the egg.
Yeah, the chicken or the egg. But MySpace, I just went to Google and it came up. MySpace.com is working.
Yeah, and they got bought by Urban One.
Who did?
MySpace.
Black Planet.
Black Planet did.
Okay, I was getting ready to say, are you drinking?
Yeah, no,
I am.
Yeah. My favorite new beer, seasonal beer. It was my favorite. It's not my favorite anymore. I realize I like other beers better now.
Preston says Facebook is a hookup site. He is right. Black Planet was not a dating site. But what they did was they started gearing it towards that.
Man, I'm tired of being right.
You should be. Only when you got one person supporting you. So, when they were going in that direction, I think that Black Planet was actually the equivalent to what Facebook was going to be, but for black folks. I think that's where they were going with that. Okay. Now, Laura Rice came in and said, Buck Wild is correct. Black Planet would have charged if there had been a dating site.
And they tried eventually.
Designed to connect folks across the, what's that word?
Diaspora.
Yeah, that's what I said. With similar cultural interests.
Yeah. And then they came out with a Latino Planet or some other stuff that was aimed at other ethnicities once they realized that Black Planet was a big thing.
Right. And that's what I said. So they want culture with
But it was smart. But it was you know what? I hated that Black Planet went downhill like it did. Because I used to spend so much time on that thing. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
and and then people would use other people's pictures and try to it was a mess.
So
it was a mess.
Back to the original MySpace was never set up to be a social media news outlet,
No.
like Facebook turned out to be, as well as Instagram turned out to be. And then, and I'll say this, Zuckerberg made a comment on yesterday that said that my organization does not do all the things that he's being accused of. Now, what CEO billionaire is sitting watching his day-to-day operation is, to know what his employees are doing to the level to say that I know they ain't doing that. So I'm sure a lot of those things that are coming out now are news to him like it is to the rest of the world, because there is a lot going on, within his organization that he probably does not know anything about. And it is now to the point where he needs to find out what's going on before he sticks foot in mouth and has to try and, and say, okay, I was wrong.
And then I heard that Facebook treats their employees like shit, but Google treats their employees well. That's what I remember reading or seeing on a website. I was like,
hey, Chris, can you go back and read what Jed had just posted a second ago?
Okay.
And I've had a chance to see this reference that he's making. Anyone seen Social Dilemma on Netflix? It is actually really good. And basically, just to compartmentalize what Dr. Ron and you, Buck, have just said, basically is what's going on with this. If you haven't had a chance to see it, it's really, really good because it's diabolical. And it's not that Mark Zuckerberg isn't in control of his own company. It's not the people, it's what they've built. It's like you build this monster. And so, when you talk about AI and the algorithms and everything that's in there, it just takes over.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, tell me this though. How many am I the only one when the whistleblower came out and says Facebook prioritizes profit over the well-being of their users? Am I the only one that said no shit, Sherlock?
Right, but why wouldn't they?
That's what businesses do. He's not in business to be the good of the people. He's in business to make money and to please his stockholders and to make billions.
Exactly. You got all the employees rubbing pussycat hair. Hey, I love this job. This is such a nice place to work. Come on, give me a break.
Exactly. Right.
No, that and that's why I said I thought it was a little over the top. Every business needs to be exactly Preston capitalism, but we live in a capitalist society. Yes, it's encouraged to be a capitalist. Whether you're talking about Jeff Bezos, if you're talking about Mark, if you're talking about any of these people who get that one opportunity, when you come up with that one great idea that just skyrockets you to the top, it's going to create capitalism.
And you know what? It's really funny. Speaking of Jeff Bezos, it's really funny. All the haters that come out and hate on him because he's so damn rich. Well, whatever the crap they say, I don't know what they say. But it's like, you know what? You can't hate on him for being successful. If you would come up with the idea that you'd be rich and you wouldn't be talking all this shit. I mean, it's like, now, I hated Amazon when it first came out because they charged top of the line prices for everything. Now, they had everything, but they charged list price for everything. Nothing ever went on sale.
Repeat what you just said.
What?
They had everything.
They had right, exactly. And then after a while, they caught on to the fact they could be a lot bigger if they just did like Walmart. They took a page out of Walmart's book and they said, hey, let's make everything cheaper, buy in bulk and all this other stuff. And then all of a sudden they became
the Amazon, but see, the difference is that Amazon is not controlling the price of what the merchandise costs, like
the stuff that they
Walmart.
sell, they do, because a lot of it's sold by Amazon.com. And those are the products I usually like to buy because I know it's going to get to me quick.
But you know why it's sold by Amazon.com? Because it's put in their warehouse.
Their warehouse, right.
Yeah,
but they have a lot of products.
By them.
No, they have a lot of products too. They buy a lot of little small companies that.
Well, they probably can if it's something that's not. I mean, that's easy to do. Yeah, but for the most part, they're not even what Walmart does versus what Amazon does is two totally different things with one of the same general ideas. The thing of it is, if you go into Walmart and you buy let's say a bag of underwear, okay, some Hanes underwear in a pack, okay, it sends
box
a
or
message,
briefs?
Briefs,
of course.
Okay,
of course.
Now, the moment that happens, it sends. Ron said, "You're fucking crazy."
That's important. Gotta have room to breathe.
It's not in this conversation.
Gotta be able to breathe.
Okay, I got you. We don't even. It's three other men on here, and we don't give a damn about your body parts. Okay, that's just
okay. But you guys want breathing?
We don't. I don't want to even think about it. Okay. I know. Okay, so the thing of it is, I love this guy. The thing of it is,
I'm like Reggie. Go to your room.
Yeah, please throw away the key. So the thing of it is
Reggie
that
ain't here. Okay, bye, Reggie.
Guys.
Sorry. Focus.
What happens is when you buy that underwear, it sends a message to Bentonville, Arkansas, that store needs more product automatically. And so what happened was when the Walton daddy, when he used to work at Ben Franklin's 5 at Dime, he used to do inventory. And he came up with this idea that if we track inventory in advance, then we don't have to worry about that. Now, and I'm gonna go to you, red beans, brown rice, because you're absolutely correct. Amazon totally controls pricing, but the control of the pricing is not to tell them what to sell it for. They control pricing based on what you put in their warehouse. They are warehouse carriers, okay? They don't care nothing about packaging and all that stuff. See, the reason that Amazon right now is ahead of FedEx and who's there? UPS is because when someone is selling a product, let's say that nice looking top that Chris Bass has on, if they see that top, they got to go pick that top up from the manufacturer and then have it delivered, put on a plane. What Amazon says is, okay, we'll take 1,000 of those and put in our warehouse and see how it works. And once people start buying them, that's actually what controls the pricing. You see what I'm saying?
This was so interesting before you started that story, but I'm glad you shared it.
But it's the truth, and that's what people don't understand, because how often do you see a UPS truck? You see Amazon rentals, you see Amazon trucks everywhere. They're everywhere.
And I bet you UPS is not happy about that.
Well, UPS really don't care. Go ahead.
And I want to jump in real quick about what Mike Love said just now, and he said it last time on the show about the phasing out of UPS and the emergence of Amazon trucks. For example, not only do you get the next day or day after, you get the same day with Amazon now. Depending on your product, that will be at your house by, say, 10 p.m. Central Time, wherever you live at.
Although I did discover they don't do that shit in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Well, it all depends.
That's why you came back home.
Right.
No next day delivery? No same day?
Chris, we didn't see that one coming. But seriously.
They knew he wasn't going to need it no time this week any damn way, so shit.
But in Atlanta, it's same day, next day is all day long.
Well, but see, look at the warehouses. When you go into, here in Dallas, when you head to DFW, they got 2 of them side by side. They're bigger than the stadium that the Cowboys play in.
Oh, wow.
I mean, those things are big, and they're sitting side by side.
Hey, listen. I had a boy who worked in one of those warehouses, and this is probably 8 years ago, 7 years ago. So maybe it wasn't as big as it is now, but he was like, man, they work you to death, and they are on your ass 24/7.
On it.
He says you don't get a chance to breathe.
On it.
And I'm like, well, it is Amazon. They got a lot of volume.
It's all about the delivery. That's why I said, don't get caught up in, they controlling the price, and they don't care nothing about that.
It's
paying. All about the delivery.
They pay, but they're demanding on your ass.
But the thing of it is, what the point I'm trying to make is, once again, it's all about if they get you under control. It's like hypnosis. It's all about hypnosis. What can I do? If I got that blue shirt to you, if you woke up this morning, Chris, and you decided you saw that on the internet. Now, if you have any connection with Amazon, the first thing that happens when you want it, it pops up in the right-hand corner of your screen at the top and tells you that it's X amount of dollars. Now, and then if you want it, then it says you can have it in 13 hours for this price.
Right.
See, all of that is done by artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. Jed just said Amazon operated at a loss for a number of years to destroy the little guy. Did anybody know that? I didn't know that part.
I can't
Verify that.
Yeah, I can't verify that. But they started as a small company when he was still married to his wife. They started in a garage too with a catalog service.
Now here's the crazy part. The company that is operating at a loss and they're still number one and have operated at a loss from day one, Netflix. They lose billions of dollars every single year, but they continue to get their investors to dump money into them so that they can stay number one because they figure eventually they'll turn a profit, and when they do, it'll be a big one. What they didn't count on is everybody jumping into the game and giving them competition. So it looks less and less likely that they'll turn a profit. But can you imagine that? They lose billions, and they continue to spend billions on.
When you lose billions, you make billions. And,
right.
And let me say this to what's her Red Beans and Rice or whatever her name is. She just put a comment up there, Chris, in reference to distribution and transportation. That's the business model. That's what I've been trying to say for the last 10 or 15 minutes. And that's what Chris said I was saying the last time we talked about this. That's the business model.
But they were outsourcing it for a long time.
It doesn't matter. The business model is distribution and transportation. They can distribute it and get it to you, and they ain't caught up in the middle of where is it. If you want your product, Amazon will call you and say, hey, you know what? We got this on the computer, and it looks like 500 people clicked on this product today. Can we send somebody over there to get 1,000 of these and put in our warehouse? Mm-hmm. And that's what they do.
And you got 1,000?
Well, it's a number.
Yeah.
So you take that number and then going back to what you said, see, they're tracking all this down all the way to what you just said, Buck, a few minutes ago in reference to where it's selling and where its interest is. So if you couldn't get it in Tuscaloosa, they know that it's not no interest in that region. They're not going to worry about that. They already know 2 steps ahead where they're going to put it. And it's just sitting there waiting on you. It's like, sucker.
Yeah.
And
also, as we all know, it's the power of advertising through the internet. For example, going back to the whole blue shirt theory that Mike was talking about. Say, for example, okay, I don't want it. I ain't got time for it right now. I'll go somewhere else. And I'll go on Facebook. And I'll go on Instagram and they'll show that same goddamn blue shirt and lower price at that to get me to buy it.
That's right. They got that artificial intelligence. It's like they reeling you in. And every time you keep clicking on it, they're going, Right. It's not even, there is no human being involved. Logistics. Thank you, Preston. Mm-hmm. It's all about logistics, man. That's the capitalist.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that, Facebook and Instagram capitalized off of was the analytics to be able to advertise what you're speaking about, looking at, when you say, okay, I want a blue tie, then all of a sudden on your Facebook, you get advertisement for the next 2-3 days for blue ties. Okay. Right. You don't even have to look at any of the ads. Just mention it.
Like they're listening.
Yeah, they are.
Well, they write the code for it. That's the analytics. And that's what analytics. It is. Right. That whole thing, that AI comes in and it just automatically picks it up. That's why you got to go watch that program on Netflix, because it talks about that. Now they portray it like it's guys in a room and they're doing it.
No. What's going to happen? What's going to happen when weed is legal and they start selling weed on Amazon? That's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
One of the main reasons why
happy day.
is one of the Alexas is in your house is for them to track what you want and what you're looking for. Because Alexa feeds information into the system.
She reads your mind.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I don't. Do you guys have Alexa, Mike? Yeah. I don't have Alexa. I don't trust that crap.
Well, it all depends. I mean, you can't. You just said something that's paramount, and I'm gonna throw it back to Chris after this. And that's not necessarily true.
Come on, don't hate. Don't hate.
Okay, this thing is so crazy that when someone is tracking you and you don't know what's doing it and you can't get ahead of it, you almost feel helpless. And we're almost there that we live in a helpless society.
But even if you knew and couldn't turn it off, I had a girlfriend one time. She would listen to all my conversations and ask me questions when I got off the phone. I'm like, what? And then she talked to her girlfriends in Turkish. I couldn't understand a damn thing she's saying, so I couldn't do it. So it's like I felt violated.
Chris, we throw it back to you.
Yeah, let me say this before Chris runs off with it. Your cell phone records everything that you say.
Does it really record it?
Yeah, because it's sending it up to the cloud for them.
Are you sure it doesn't just like send it up automatically without recording it? Like, it would take a lot of hard drive space.
Watch that movie on Netflix.
Okay.
Which one?
The one that who was it? Jed, Chris, that said one of the people who are following us this evening.
Social media.
Yeah. So the Social Dilemma. That's what it's called. Dilemma, it's called Social Dilemma on Netflix.
Oh, I thought it was a social network.
Social Dilemma. That's what it's called. Take a look.
All right,
at
Chris.
that,
I'm gonna shut the hell up right now.
Oh,
yeah,
great!
Chris, throwing it back to you.
You know what? I had to remind myself that I really like this Negro right here.
Don't do me no favors.
I had to remind myself.
What a crowd! What a crowd! What a crowd!
What a crowd! Right. I'll be here all week.
Tip the waitresses, yes, please. Good night. So, before we move on to the next topic, I must say I got a chance to rewatch Enemy of the State with Will Smith and Gene Hackman. Please go rewatch that because it shows you just how the government is in your pocket by the time you are born forward.
That was a great movie.
Way ahead of its time. Fantastic. It was lights out fantastic. So my topic is about former Vice President Mike Excrement. He was recently on.
You are talking about Mike Pence, right?
Mike Excrement.
Just to be clear,
I was going to clear. See, there you're going to interrupt me again.
I'm trying to help you out, bro.
No. I got this. I don't interrupt when you start talking. Let me do this. I got this, bro.
Okay. You're much more kind than I am.
Well, today I am. So he was on Fox News with host Sean Hannity talking about the coverage that happened on January 6th. The former vice president said it was to demean former President Donald Trump's supporters who in the January rally turned into a mob that stormed the Capitol while Pence was overseeing the certification of Trump's 2020 election loss to Joe Biden. This is what Vice President Excrement, former Vice President Excrement said. I know the media wants to distract from the Biden administration's failure and agenda by focusing on one day in January. They want to use that as the one day to try and demean the character and intentions of 74 million Americans who believe we could be strong again, be prosperous again, and supportive of our administration in 2016 and 2020.
I saw that. I was like,
right. Yeah, exactly. So you notice the pattern of the playbook. Let's go back. Prosperous again, strong again, make America great again. It's from that same playbook. This was the same vice president who Trump had people to say hang Mike Pence.
Did he really? I don't remember that. I don't remember.
Don't?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
I try to block the whole Trump era out. Like, out of my mind.
Didn't they have the guillotine or something? They even had like a mock guillotine or something.
Yeah, mock guillotine or mock noose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything. So over 600 people are facing charges in connection to January 6 attacks. It goes back to what I said about the party of Trump. They have no spine, no backbone, no soul. Your president called for your death, and you're still homies. How can that be? I mean, I don't.
Hey,
look.
You've known people though that were what do we call them? Compulsive liars. You know,
Yeah.
they just be bullshitting. And I think he was thinking, oh yeah, Trump just be bullshitting.
No, he knew.
My total guess.
Yeah, no, you can't be before. You can't be. You can be blinded. You know, you can blind faith. But I'll give Pence this: being around Trump for 4 years, he knows how he operates. So when he said, "Hang Mike Pence," he knew good and goddamn well if they got a hold of his ass, they would have done some serious shit to that man.
It could have been bad.
Nancy Pelosi.
Mm-hmm.
He called for their death, and the minions that followed Trump went and did just that.
Minions.
They chanted. They went to, the whole insurrection thing that happened on January 6th. But again, it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not. And see, people like him, Senator Ted Cruz. Look, let me break this down for everybody.
Does anybody, by the way, like Ted Cruz? I think anybody. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm used to it now.
Anybody. He is such a bitch.
That crest that went over his head, you know that.
I know. Yeah.
What?
Don't
Nothing.
worry.
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. So, someone like Senator Ted Cruz, who Trump has called out his father, meaning, Ted Cruz's father, saying something to do with the assassination of JFK, called his wife ugly.
Well,
Now,
is she?
Just
kidding.
His wife ugly. And so, yeah, go ahead.
It's called the mute button. That's how you get rid of him. We could send him to his room.
I ain't gonna be that harsh. I mean, I could, but I ain't gonna be that harsh.
Hey, the legend gave us the formula for dealing with Buck. Go to your room. Click a
Nigga, we can send you to Weight Watchers. Ain't nobody said that shit, so what?
Oh, no, okay, that's enough of that.
Motherfucker.
Let's go back to what I was saying about Ted Cruz. So when you call somebody out like that, now I know about you, gentlemen. I'm sure you feel the same way if it was you or me. Nothing wrong with if you're a part of an affiliation or organization, that's great. But if you call my wife out, organization, be damned.
We done.
That's it. That's it. But see, it goes back to these spineless rat bastards that don't give a damn. How much power do you need? How much power will you let this man, this rank outsider, come into your organization, come into your party, just take over everything? And for you to bow down and kiss the orange ring with no problem, mind you, there had to be people who within the party had to have fought back, they had to be pushed back. But they were silenced because the majority started to rule. And they were eyeballing the next 4 years to be in power, to whatever this man said was going to be okay. And in honor of our brother, Professor Reggie, I'm going to quote some music. So back in the day, the Temptation had a song called Power. Power, boom, boom, power, boom, boom, boom. That song came out around 1980 or so. And yeah, you go, listen, damn it, and go shine that dome. So the song that was then fronted by Dennis Edwards has the following: I'll make you all a master race. Just put me in my godly place. That's what the Republicans did with Trump. They put him into his godly place because they want to march 4 more years with this man had he won the election. That's dangerous. And then for people to have revisionist history and to look at what happened January 6th, you can say it, you can spit it, you can roll your eyes, you can roll your behind. We know what we saw on January 6th. You can lie all you want to, but it still was what it was. It was an insurrection. And plus the fact that it says before on SNN, Had it been people of color, had it been brown or black or brown, headshots all the way.
Massacre.
Body count with no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about the ultimate white privilege, the ultimate, Karens and Kens that we want to bring into the situation. That is it. And then to rename them, the ones that go to over the 600 people that's being facing charges for January 26th, they're patriots. They were doing the right thing.
I would love to have somebody white on the show who really believes that shit and actually comes on and defends themselves and defend their party. I would love that. That would be
it's a lost cause, because when you subscribe to it, and I dare say it is what it is, you subscribe to, say, for example, you look at the definition of a cult. When people follow a cult, the cult leader, absentee fatherism, Jesus Christ-like complexes, they follow the aura of this man, and they gravitate. Why? Because they're empty inside. It's the same thing.
You think 74 million people were like that? Fit that description?
I would say the ones who follow really blindly don't question. You always want to question authority. You always want to question people that, I don't know. Hey man, let me ask you this question. If you just do it, just be doing it with no thought process whatsoever, something's wrong with you. You can be led literally to slaughter. The rhetoric and the notation of someone like Vice President, former Vice President Mike Eskerman, to constantly bang the drum of lies. And once again, let's reiterate: hang Mike Pence. That was the slogan going into the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
But you can always brush it off. Hey, it's copacetic. Hey, no harm, no foul. It was all just to go after the Biden administration and not me. It's beyond sad. That's dangerous. And I'll go one more thing further and throw it out to everybody. I don't think Donald Trump will be investigated. I don't think he'll go do any serious time, because I think deep down inside with some of these people, they want him to run for 2024. Now, of all the stuff he's done from federal situations, even locally there in New York, you would think there'd be like a hurry up, speeding up process to get this thing going. I don't think it's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. But if I didn't know any better, it's just a dog and pony show to give the illusion we'll go after Trump. But then really a lot of people behind the scenes, okay, we'll play the role, but really want him to run in 2024.
You know probably why. They don't know if they have anybody else or will have anybody else as strong as a candidate to be able to try to take the White House again.
No, you're right about that. No,
the rules are that.
Well, the CPAC had a outpoll with their conservatives. He won beating Trump. If he was to run in 2024, he won by like over 70%, between 70 and 74% that they would vote for him again.
Who was that?
CPAC, the conservative.
No, I'm saying who? You're saying Pence or Trump?
This is Trump.
Trump.
This is Trump.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was at 77% re-election.
About 74%.
Yeah, and think about it. It's so true. If he won, his second term would be all about revenge, because he wouldn't have to worry about re-election, so he could do whatever the hell he wanted to, and he would go for the throat.
And for the record, before I move, if everybody may jump in, give you commentary. People out there, the reason why I call him former Vice President Mike Eskerman was because, remember the vice presidential debates and the fly came on his head? Flies are attracted to shit.
Looks like a steak dinner to them.
Hey man, gobble gobble, gobble gobble.
Yeah, facts. That's a fact.
Right.
Yeah, we have seen over the last year or so that people would rather believe the lie than to try and find out the truth, because it's easier to believe a lie. I saw so many people come forward and follow behind day after day. I think somebody did a statistical analysis of how many lies that Trump told while in office. And when they did that, it was like unbelievable, some astronomical number.
The ones on camera.
Yeah. because they were able to, yes, they were on camera, because they were able to, you talk about news networks. If Trump said, I didn't say that, then they would play the tape where he said it.
Right. Those are always
So,
funny.
yeah. So it's, people, we make choices, on what we choose to believe, so some folks would rather believe, their lying eyes, because you think about a scenario where, he would sit up there and say, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And then you got a video said, well, ain't that you? Yeah, that was me, but it wasn't me. I didn't do it. So and people will go along with it. Don't look like him. Like, we talked about R. Kelly in the video last week. He said it wasn't me, but then you got a whole video. You know what I'm saying? What you mean it wasn't you? Ain't that you in the video? And he was like, no, it wasn't me. It was my brother. Like Mike said, his brother was at the door hollering his name.
Yo, Robert.
So, this whole 74 million people that truly believe wholeheartedly that he is the best thing for them in their lives, they need to go find a country somewhere that they can occupy, because the rest of this country would like to have a chance and an opportunity to get back on solid ground, because this dude had people 6 feet off the ground. He sold them a bill of goods and they floating in the air, like you can fly, and they just hanging in midair. It's not real. This is not. Yeah.
You're right, but not to think and not to question is doing a disservice to your mind. That you shouldn't do to yourself. But unfortunately, people do. And again, going back to the whole godlike complex or Jesus complex that a Trump has with his followers, you don't question God. You don't question Jesus. So you don't question Trump. And that's what happens, unfortunately. So when that person is exalted to a whole different realm of understanding, or that once again, that praise, and they get on their knees and they can't wait for him to speak at these rallies. It's more of a blind following.
And then CPAP. You saw what happened in CPAP, right?
Right, yes.
They created a whole graven image.
Mm-hmm. Golden calf, right.
Yeah.
Yes, Buck. Well,
What do we think? What do we think? Just to bring it a little bit more current, what do we think of Joe Biden and the job he's doing? The current president.
Right. And you just got your answer.
Anybody? Bueller?
You just got your answer.
Bueller? Nobody?
You just got your answer.
So more importantly, what do you think of him, Buck?
Exactly.
It's hard to, I want to like him. I mean, it's okay. I like him as a person. It's hard to like the job he's doing. It seems like he likes to talk a lot of shit and then don't want to back it up. And then, I don't know. Not a whole lot.
Back it up. Let me jump in.
Difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, the thing of it is, Buck.
Yes,
he
Mr.
is a nice guy.
Okay.
And it's unfortunate that nice guys always come in last. Is that how it's said?
Is going to be another Jimmy Carter, you saying?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said nice guys come in last.
right.
And this country is really not built on the nice guy image.
Okay.
If you go back and you look at, when Dr. Ron was making a statement in reference to people following other people and the mindset of how people make a determination to be a part of a group of people who may not mean the country well, but they follow. There's 74 million of them that believe that they're all going in the right direction. Go back and look at Westerns. And every time they go, string them up. And then everybody in the crowd want to do it. All it took was one person.
Mob behavior, yeah.
Some mob behavior. Exactly. And that's all based on fear. See, when we see racism in our country, we actually see fear. And they have been able to paint a pretty picture on this fear to make it look like it's an achievement or a successful movement, and it's not. Because if it was, you wouldn't have to do it. But it's all about the fear, because at some point, there's enough people on the planet that don't look like them, that if they took them over, they can't even imagine what it would be like if they were the underlings. That's what you're seeing. So when you get somebody like our former president to come out, and it's just like Bannon said, hey, I put a rag paper together that I put out to people that don't have representation. And
Who
they
said
talk
that? Who said that?
Bannon. What's his name? Was it Steve Bannon? What's his
Steve Bannon.
Oh, I thought you
Steve
were talking about David Bannon. I'm like, David Bannon?
No, Steve Bannon. He went to the president and said, here's a group of people. If you need followers, these people right here don't have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave those people a voice.
Yep.
The reason that they don't have a voice is because it's a voice of ignorance. And it's what Ron and Chris said a few minutes ago. When you think about talking about lynching somebody,
mm-hmm.
that they even bring that up in the 21st century is ignorant.
And
you see what I'm saying?
And just for the record, for all the white folks on the cheat sheets up there in the top up there that's paying attention to what we're talking about, Black folks would never ever treat you the way that you have treated us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And time after time after time, the first thing that we want to do is forgive. Okay. Mm-hmm. The first thing we want to do is can't we all just get along?
Now, we may rob you or carjack you, but all this other stuff, no.
But we'll do that to ourselves.
Right.
We sure will.
And that's the damn problem. Preach, Ron. Okay. Damn, you hit something on
that is true.
We ain't gonna do that to nobody else outside of ourselves. We do our own selves dirty. Okay. So, when we look at others, we too busy trying to fit in, okay, and be accepted. Okay, so we would never do to our abusers what our abusers have done to us, period. Generation after generation. I saw an interview, Rosewood. Y'all saw the movie.
Of course.
Okay. They destroyed a whole town back in the early 1900s. Wiped it out, Rosewood, Florida. And one of the survivors of that incident, she said in the interview, in the closing credits of the movie, she said, that it was, she learned over time that there was some good white people in the world. Now, she's a survivor of a massacre, but it took her time after time to realize that there was some good white folks in the world.
Amen.
Okay. So those were the people that abused us as people of being Black, people of color. They abused us. And their fear is that if we become the power that we can be by growing and keep growing and outpopulating them, then the fear mongering that the last administration began to focus on was that Black folks are going to move into your neighborhood and rape your daughters. Mm-hmm. I'm here to say bullshit.
Hey, watch your language.
Well, the same thing about Mexicans coming across the border, and we got to go do a GoFundMe to come up with more money because they want to come over here and rape and steal.
Yeah.
There are 4 homes being built in front of the house that I've been gifted with. I don't see any African Americans or white people on the construction site. It's all Mexican. These houses are being built within a 90-day period. I'm watching
Woo,
these
really?
guys.
Are they like what do they used to call those homes? Track homes? that what it is?
No. It's the workmanship.
Oh, they're working hard. In fact,
They're working hard. There's no foreman. See, they come up with things to keep control. The ones who live in fear. I have a lot of great white friends. I don't want to get on a medium like this and look
my
like
best friend is white.
and look like I'm challenging.
That's what they say to us.
Well, black. To challenge what the reality is because Ron said it best. When you live in fear and you think at some point you're going to lose control, the first thing you start doing is something stupid. And that's what we see.
Mm-hmm.
And that because that's all it is. There's nothing else that any other race can do to you that you can't prevent happening to yourself. But see, when it's more of you than it is of us, you take advantage of it and not understanding that you're already in control because it's more of you than it is of us. So you don't even have to worry about it. You could share in the wealth, but you're afraid to share in the wealth because the moment that you do that, Dr. Ron can have the same idea and he may compete against you. When you don't want competition, something is wrong with you. I don't ever want to be the smartest guy in the room or the sharpest knife in the drawer. I like competition. Every time I'm competing with somebody, I learn something.
I'm not like that at all. I'm just the opposite. I'm too busy worried about myself to worry about somebody else to be competing with somebody. Although I do wish I were more competitive, but I've just never been that way. I'm always competing with myself.
That's what I just said.
Is it? You sure?
Didn't I just say that?
Is you sure?
I
You said
think
when you're in competition, you do better. I'm like, I don't know.
No, I did not say that. I don't think. Did I say that? Run the tape back.
It's not tape. It's all digital.
I know. I was just trying to get your attention because obviously you're not listening.
I was listening.
I said once again.
All right. You think you said?
Because you're like a son to me, and you know that.
Yes, I am.
Or a big brother. Okay.
Young little brother.
I said I don't work to be the smartest knife in the drawer. I mean, the sharpest knife in the drawer, the smartest person in the room. I like the fact that it's competition because I'm going to learn something from you when I'm competing against you. See, if I come in and I want to control it and I want to do all the talking and I want to do everything, I won't learn anything.
Who was the best morning man you went up against when you were doing mornings?
Well, I went up against morning man in 3 different markets.
Who was the best?
So that's it. I don't know, but that's not the subject at hand right now. We're going to talk about that. Right now, I'm talking about a race of people who cannot find foundation on a planet that God gave to everything that he created.
Come on now, you preaching.
You
Well,
see what I'm saying?
Well, let me say this too. When you talked about relationships of blacks and whites, Caucasians, and people of color in this country, I reminded of my maternal grandfather. Mm-hmm. So my maternal grandfather at one point used to work construction. So when I was a child, he told me stories of him working construction sites with white coworkers who he hated, and that was the word he used. He hated them. Mm-hmm. The memory sticks out the most from what he told me was one time he fell into a ditch on the site. And it was a very deep ditch. And you know how it is with, of course, dirt. You know, you can't because you keep falling back in like quicksand. And so instead of them helping him, they urinated into the ditch while he was in there.
Mm.
That's harsh.
And I was with him on the hatred. But then he says to me, I don't want you to hate white people. I got that covered.
That's right.
I have my reasons to. I understand your love for me, and I understand that, but take them as a case-by-case basis from your experience.
Amen.
And that's what I learned.
That's
It was
it.
a hard lesson to learn because who wants to see their family in pain in any
Exactly.
way, shape, or form? But it was a lesson learned because he's like, look, this is me, but you have your own path to chart.
That's right.
I think one of the best lessons I ever learned.
I mean, I'm telling you, you tell a remarkable story there because you can't judge every situation as a whole.
Correct.
And that's what they do. We can't let them get ahead of us because if they get ahead of us, they'll take over the world and we'll be nothing. That is so small minded that it's actually silly.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you want to be a part of an organization that will scale the Capitol building, that will even consider publicly saying that you would hang somebody, that you would go into, you elected an official to represent you, and then you turn around and break into her office, put your feet up on her desk, and then maybe another one of your cohorts says, is that her laptop? Let me see if I can sell it to the Russians. Something's wrong.
Perversion on a major
Perversion.
level. Yeah. Perversion on a major level.
Yeah.
You know? And one thing that we gotta reflect back on that day when they were in the process of breaking into the chamber, their desire to try to accomplish their mission was so driven that they ran in front of a bullet from a Secret Service agent. Okay, that young lady was a military veteran, and she went running in there, busting in through glass and trying to climb through that door. And the job of the Secret Service is to protect the vice president.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why she got shot because he was not all clear yet.
Mm-hmm.
So when she came through that door, she got her head blowed off.
I remember that. She got popped.
Yeah. And then of course they want to, blame the officer for shooting a white woman, but not the crime that she was committing at the time was overlooked.
Always deflection.
So, when you train a pit bull to attack and you use your attack word, that dog don't know nothing but attack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Until you call them off. And there was many people in the shelter in the basement talking about, call them off. They was on the phone trying to get to the president and say, call them off. We in here too. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of heads that are responsible for the disaster that took place on that day. And it is a disaster, because it was a lot of people that lost life that day, and they're still trying to defer and not address and deal with what they have done to provoke this. So, and I say Pence is just as guilty, and I tell you why. He co-signed on everything 45 did all the time while he was in office. He co-signed it.
Of course he did.
All the way up until the time they started coming after him. Like, wait a minute, hold on, I don't co-sign that. Did he want to change his mind? And then when he wasn't vice VP anymore, he couldn't even go any place where anybody could know where he was because people were still hunting him.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's deep right there.
Let me chime in real quick. This is from our fearless leader. 5 years ago today, Donald Trump publicly said it was cool to grab a woman by the pussy. Then went on to become the president of the United States. That quote, that's again. But see, once again, you get a free pass. You get a free pass. Had it been one of us, oh, it's decadent. It's shameful behavior or anything else. But if you're a certain hue, oh yeah, it's just locker room talk. That's how guys talk.
Yeah.
It's okay. But it's not okay. And then when you question when it's not okay, all of a sudden you're the bad person for asking.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to create separation when it isn't necessary. It isn't necessary. God has done all the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It isn't necessary. It's like they're trying to go back in and change something that isn't necessary to do because of fear. And, you know, if we don't call them out on what it is and it's fear, whether it's from Mexicans, whether it's from Indians, whether it's from Africans, or any other race of people who want to come into this country because you promote it. See, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. You say this is the land of the brave and the home of the free. But when somebody else tries to come in and be brave and free, you put up the stop sign.
Right.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Amen.
They do it all the time. I know Dr. Ron has a rant from the desk of Dr. Ron. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. You know, and this is a good segue into what we're talking about. I had something come across my desk on this week, and I said I was going to share it. You know, I'm just going to read it, and then we'll go into it. It said, let's get this straight. It wasn't poor people on welfare who crashed our economy. It was crooked bankers. It wasn't immigrants who took your job. It was greedy employers who intentionally hired someone they could underpay for more profit. It wasn't Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security that bankrupt our country. It was tax cuts for the rich and obscene levels of military spending. That says a lot right there, you know, and it kind of segues into why we're in the situation that we're in this in the country today. But you know, they always like to blame a demographic of people to be able to say this is why we this way because of Social Security. No, it's not. You know, this is why we don't have any money because we taking care of people. No, it's not. You know, these are all fallacies that people get hyped up over. You know, catchphrases that push people's buttons. You know, and I wanted to throw it out to the panel. You know, because we all have seen in the life and time that we've been here, a roller coaster up and down. You know, we've seen different political agendas. I've seen banks lose money and file bankruptcy, the savings and loan crisis, the mortgage crisis. They had more crises, but they don't say it's the poor people that cause those crises. It's the bank and industry that had mismanagement of what they were responsible for that caused these crises. So it's not us. You know, and I say us because I consider myself to be in the poor people category, because I ain't walking around with an airplane and a boat, and all those other things, that toys that make people feel like they're wealthy and rich. I'm on the side of the people that's like, look, where we gonna get some more food at? What food line is that we can go to and get something? What time they start? I'm with them. Okay. So, we have to, keep putting it out there to the forefront. We know what the story is. We know what the problems are in this country, because we're on the ground with the people and we report on it every week. We talk about it every week. So, I know you guys have seen what I've seen. I mean, everybody don't live in a private, secluded neighborhood like Mike, where they building, $500,000 houses outside your front door and stuff.
You're dreaming. You need to get some of that CBD and pass it around, homie.
But you understand what I'm saying. The truth needs to be told. And that's basically what I'm saying. We need to tell the truth, and we need to stop trying to blame sections of people for things that they're not responsible for.
Well, that's never going to stop. It must be the greatest feeling in the world not to take personal responsibility. It must be fantastic to pillage, to rape, to steal, to do everything on God's green earth and don't take any blame for it. And then not only that, to blame somebody else. It has to be the wonderful feeling in the world. So my point is, we know it's wrong. This country was built on lies to begin with. It was stolen from people who were already here. Let's go back and you go back earlier. You mentioned about westerns and cowboy movies. When you do your history, you always know that it's an illusion of a story. General George Custer, who went into Little Big Sur, and tried to take over all these Native Americans. And so when you watch the movies, oh yeah, in certain movies, yeah, he was the hero, and even though he was surrounded by, and they were told him, don't go in, it's a suicide mission.
Mm-hmm.
Did it anyway. But see, people understand what the Native Americans were doing. They may have had beefs between other tribes, but you know what? If we band together, we could take all of them out. And that's what happens. So he goes in there, and everybody's, everybody's shooting up and everything else. But then they surrounded him, and the troops, and got taken out completely, scalped all the time.
Last stand.
Last, complete, because you ain't gonna stand no more. You take the dirt nap.
You take the last stand.
That's it, doctor. That's it. That's you. You lights out everybody. That's
Done.
it. That's it.
Done.
So it goes back to knowing your history. But had you went to the rhetoric of that storyline, you would have said, hey, Custer did his thing. No, he didn't do his thing. He got taken out, and his troops. His troops begged him. With all due respect, gentlemen, we shouldn't go in there. Oh, my God, we'll take the hill ourselves, and all type of crap. You see what happened when you know your history. It's easy to blame somebody else. It's easy to point the finger and say, there go the bad guy. It's easy to do it. So why should anybody stop now? We've been doing it for centuries. Even though it's not our fault, it's not the fault of the poor people, it's the people who are in charge that have all the control to spend other people's money, to rob, to be a number since day one. Come on now. It's not going to stop. And I'm glad you brought this up, Dr. Ron, because again, we have to know our history of all of this. If we went by what they said, everything's our damn fault.
Mm-hmm.
Just walking, just being born, doing anything while black or being a person of color, you're already wrong from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. When someone can take a buffalo hide and make a house out of it, called a TP, you think you're really smarter than them?
Well, Custer thought he was smart because he went to West Point.
Of course. Well, you should be. I mean, that's what it was all about. It was promoted that was, West Point was where he was smart.
He got out there talking about, I'm smarter than any redskin that exists, okay? And his head sitting on somebody's teepee.
Right. Mona said it best a few seconds ago. What did she say on there, Chris? Distractions. Rhetoric distractions, Ron.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But sometimes you got to call a spade a spade. You just got to say it. Even though people may know it, like we know the truth, we practice the truth, we deal with the truth, but sometimes you got to say it. So when it comes across my desk and I see it like that, I'm like, man, I'm using this tonight. We got to let people know that we know what's real. We ain't sleep. Okay. We know that the what do you say? What you say, fool?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
It's the lip sync for me.
Nothing at all.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but you have to say it. You got to let people know, like, look, wake the hell up. Wake the hell up. Don't let them people tell you that giving those rich people, and this was the lie that went along with it. We're gonna give the tax break to all of the rich people, and it's going to be a trickle-down effect that's going to be a blessing for the working class people. Y'all remember that lie?
Yeah.
I don't want to. How about that?
No,
I don't
right?
want to remember it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was it. Oh, we're going to get it. And it's going to trickle down. By the time it gets down to you working class people that are working for peanuts right now, you're going to be okay. Because when they pull that, their big credits from taxes, they'll be fine. And they're going to bless you with higher wages.
Well, the only thing that's particularly wrong with that way of thinking is it doesn't factor in the most important thing: greed.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
Hey, now if greed weren't a factor at all, it would probably work. It would probably work, but the problem is those people at the top, they love money. They're not in the habit of giving it away.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's like this big debate that's in government right now, whether or not to pay the government's bills or not. They would rather shut down. Now think about this. You know, they would rather shut the entire government down than to allow them to increase, the limit so that they can pay their bills.
But that's just a
Okay.
political game. They're playing a political game here.
But
The Republicans.
but it's the rich people who are saying we don't want to pay our bills. It ain't the poor people saying
True.
we
But
won't
what I'm
pay our
saying is
bills.
the Republicans have gotten to the point where they want something catastrophic to happen so that they can blame the Democrats and say the Democrats, because it's on their watch now, say it's the Democrats' fault. So you need to elect us and get all these fools out of Congress and out of the White House so that we, the smart ones, the Republicans who really look out for the country, we can take back over.
That goes back to what you said about greed.
Yep.
You just brought that right back around to what you just said. It's
completely
greed.
unintentionally.
Yeah. Greed. Okay, so you want the full power. I mean, it's like we said this a couple of weeks ago. So you get in and you get your team elected. And now the opposition says, we're not going to work with you for 4 years. Okay. How much sense does that make if you're not going to work with the opposing party that got elected? That means that the country every 4 years will be, that's why we're not gaining anything. Because each party wants to do the same thing. Well, we're not going to support the Republican agenda for the next 4 years.
And when did it start? When did all that start?
When
they elected a man of color into the White House.
That's not true.
I think it started before.
Oh, it started before that? I just know it got really bad then.
No, it just got
really
amplified.
bad.
It got amplified even more so.
It's Obama's fault. Everything is Obama's fault.
That's what Trump said.
Everybody said, all the Republicans say that it's Obama's fault.
It's easy to blame somebody.
Right. Trump was in office and he blamed the bathroom key not working on Obama.
Right. In the executive office.
He said the key don't work in the bathroom. It's Obama's fault. And I think they had a couple of social media tags that went out and said, if this motherfucker blame one more thing on me, I'm going to go slap him.
And you know what? Obama wouldn't even give him the pleasure of that because he could slap the taste out of his mouth if he wanted to. Michelle could do that.
Yeah,
with those guns.
Children.
You see Michelle's arms? Boy.
Yeah. Wait a minute. The Obama children could shut him down. Okay.
Yeah. Now, who was that he challenged to a fight during the physical fight? He challenged somebody to a fight during the debates. He said, I'll fight you any day. Come on.
But you know what, though? You have to hit him pretty hard because that is one fat ass. Okay? You have to knock him right in the chin. And then there'll be a little earthquake. A little register on the Richter scale. But yeah, he's a big boy.
Mentally or physically, he's not that difficult to beat. Go ahead.
No, but to show you obviously how petty the Republican Party and the conservative movement is, When Obama was in office, Fox News in particular, because that's their cheerleading section, got on President Obama at the time, the summertime, for wearing a tan suit.
After Easter, after Labor Day.
No, it was
I'm
like
just-
he just
I'm just
he,
asking.
he
I'm
just
just
had on tan too.
Right. But see, again, it's optics. And once again, believing and not questioning. It was all, you could have swore the man came out there, with pistols and guns and draws on.
With a
and
dashiki and flip flops on.
But hold on,
Exactly.
though. Hold on.
Hat
So
turned sideways, represent
Exactly.
the gang sign,
Right. But they made that into that type of image because it was so called wrong. And not only that, you do your history, there was a documentary about, say, what the conservative people call the modern conservative godfather would be Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan wore brown suits and tan suits, but that's okay.
But listen, nobody loves Obama more than me. He was the absolute coolest. But there were a lot of Democrats that ate his ass alive because he was not, or not Democrats, progressives that ate him alive because he was not a black president. He wasn't a president for the black people. He wasn't Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. He wasn't trying to push black people forward. It's like, well, he could only do so much as one president. He was constantly fighting against the Republicans, but they still gave him the business. Like he was supposed to be Martin Luther King up in there.
But Buck, you just said what the whole problem is in the hour and 41 minutes that we talked in, is that judgment of people by color is a massive mistake.
Of course it is.
But that's never addressed.
But you know what? That happens all over the world. It's not just here. There are a lot of countries where the whole light skin, dark skin, white versus
we live in America, and so that's where it's most concentrated for me.
For you,
I'm saying
I'm
here,
saying it's not unusual.
Oh, I didn't say it was unusual. I'm saying in this country that once again, the home of the brave and the free, that we have everything, hot and cold, running water. You don't see the Hope ship docked on the shores of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
The Hope ship? What is?
Yeah, they had that ship where they go to the countries and they feed the kids and they give them the doctor's care and that kind of stuff because the countries don't have doctors or nurses.
That's really cool.
Yeah, but I'm saying this country doesn't have that. We have hospitals. We have all the things that we need. See, when you look at a gift and you ignore the gift that you have, something is mentally wrong. When you have people who create problems, going back to what either Ron or Chris was talking about, the government money being spent and then worrying about it. $3.5 trillion is and will always be a lot of money. But if it fixes the infrastructure to keep us going, how much money is it really? It's not going to break us. Yes, you have to balance. You can't just go. They don't sit in a warehouse and just make money.
You know what I don't understand though about that? I mean, because that's a very good point, right? But why is it that they're always talking about how much we can keep going into debt, and they don't ever figure out another way? Because I know there's got to be another way to increase the income of the government. So in other words, the only way we make money is taxes, right?
It's part of our system.
Right, but I'm saying,
if you
isn't there another way?
Hold on a second. Hold on. I just want to say this,
money?
and don't forget your thought. Don't forget your thought. You take campaign funds instead of taxing those same people. See, if instead of taking $100 million in campaign funds and giving $100 million back from the Bezos crowd, you could rectify some of these issues. Go ahead.
Okay. And I don't know if what other way other governments around the world have done this. I do know that there are a lot of countries that are in much better shape than we are, at least less debt than we are, and have a lot better social services than we have. but their taxes are 50% for everybody. So, barring that, I mean, I don't know. There seems like there should be another way for the government to bring more money in instead of continually borrowing and raising this debt. Because, eventually we're going to get to the point where the debt is going to be higher than our revenue.
It's that now.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's
Higher
that
than the
now.
revenue. So we spend more than well, I guess so. Yeah. Otherwise, we'd have a surplus. But there's got to be some another way to make money. Like I said last week, and I'll say it again: if the government would just legalize marijuana but only let themselves sell it, and they take in all the money, debt would be gone.
Well,
and I would not buy it because I don't smoke weed anymore. But
what?
It's a great idea.
Not now.
Oh, I stopped years ago.
I didn't know when you.
I stopped years ago, bro.
All he do is craft beer and cheap whiskey now.
I do some good whiskey.
The last balanced budget I think we had was Carter. Not Carter.
Who?
Yeah, Clinton. Clinton and Carter.
Clinton had it. No. Clinton had a budget surplus.
Yeah, but I think Carter started in his administration and he carried over to Clinton.
Now you know what they should do, and they're really scared to do this. They don't do anything they're supposed to do, but they need to have a balanced budget amendment. Say they have to balance the budget, otherwise they're ass out.
And that's what states have to do.
Right, a lot of states do. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of states.
The government ain't gonna do it. They ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna do
Yeah.
anything that would make them have to work harder.
Yeah.
Because then you would hire an administrator instead of electing a politician.
Well, you think about it. This country lives by the fact that the rich keep getting richer and the poor has to remain poor.
Exactly.
But that's not the biggest problem, though, Ron. You know what the biggest problem?
The largest problem we have.
Well,
yeah, it is.
Okay, maybe it is, but one of the biggest problems with the government is, and the reason why we're in such financial dire straits, is because the government has a built-in incentive to waste money. Think about that for a second. If you work for a government agency, and at the end of the year you have money that you have not spent, you have to find a way to waste that money, otherwise you're going to lose it for next year's budget. Whereas business is just the opposite. Just the opposite. Your incentive is to save money, and you get a bonus based upon how much money you save. Here, you get a bonus based upon how much you waste. You're penalized for saving money. So that's one of the major problems.
Because you're not supposed to make a profit off of it.
Right. No, that's a granted. That's a given. But what I'm saying is that you waste money. You're constantly wasting money.
I said that in my statement.
You probably did. I wasn't listening.
It was tax cuts for the rich and obscene levels of military spending.
Oh, the military. That's a whole nother issue.
Yeah. Man. So, when you look at the fact that we said this, I think, early in the year when we were talking about how money that the rich are holding on to, that money doesn't get back into circulation. They're sitting on money. They're sitting on money. You look at the fact, and I think Chris brought this out as a topic one week, the fact that every state had money that was given to them to help with their unemployment. And they wanted people to go back to work so bad that they started cutting unemployment and start cutting welfare. They started cutting food stamps because they want to starve people back into these low-paying jobs. In these low-paying jobs, people can't live.
And they get treated like crap too. In those low-paying jobs.
They can't live on. People go to work for $5 an hour plus tips. Okay, and then they got to have transportation to get there. They got to have child care. They can't afford to take a $5 an hour job plus tips. But that's what government suggested we needed to do. People are getting paid too much money on unemployment, quote unquote, by the as Reggie would say, the rep cons. Okay. They had came out and made those statements repeatedly over and over again. And most Republican governors said, well, we're taking away your extra income.
Who's the rep cons? Is that the Republicans?
Yes.
Just asking.
Yeah, I got you.
Why you whispering like you don't want nobody to know you?
Is that the Republicans?
He gonna wake up one day and be a part of the show.
Well, you guys have to talk about some interesting shit. Then. Okay.
Well, it's the facts. Just the facts. Nothing but the facts. That's all we talk about. Try to keep it real. So bottom line is, we talk about it to keep it on the forefront of people's awareness so that we know what we got to do. It's not over. We still got work to do. We still have to sound the alarm. We still got to keep people stirred up. Whatever your public officials are BSing you about, let them know it's BS. We know better than that. Mm-hmm. We listen to street news now.
Well, your vote can have a big influence on that, and that's one of the things that just needs to really be taken into consideration, is that you have to vote. And I think one of the things that we need to put together as a panel and an agenda is we need to start talking about the conversation about people, especially of color, having IDs. What do you have to do to get qualified to be a part of mainstream? Now, a lot of people can't help if they've been incarcerated before, if there are any other reasons that they can't. But a lot of people who don't vote have a subscription to Stars and will be watching Black Media Family.
Well, I mean, it's Power's on there. Power, you got to see Power.
You see, but that's when you can take the time to make sure you got a subscription to watch corrupt-based programming, because the only way that programming is entertaining is if you got enough common sense not to go out and do what you just saw.
But it is so entertaining. It's so well written.
I love it. That's what I just said. But the common sense has to come in.
Especially Tommy, man. Tommy is the man.
Well, 50 just moved here to Dallas, to Texas.
Did he really?
Rather.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And I mean, I applaud him because he's in the entertainment industry and he's taken his game from just being a rapper going into being a media person, a content creator. But once again, did we really need Black Media Family? Did we really need that show? How interesting?
Black Mafia Family, you mean?
Black Mafia. I'm sorry, I was stuck on the word media. Black Mafia Family. Do we need that?
No.
That's the part that's just kind of trouble. You couldn't think of nothing else. But let's go back to the beginning.
Well, because isn't he about to get out? Big Meech's about to get out of jail?
Who?
Big Meech.
I don't care.
I think he is.
Yeah,
I think that might have been that part of the relevance.
There's no reason to create a show, a weekly show.
I agree. But listen, gangster shows and gangster movies have been around a long time.
But the thing of it is, you can make those gangster movies and shows are they're going back to tell a story of something that happened in the past. See, it affects us totally different. There will be an African American kid that will see that and then think about how we can put this together. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Buck, man, you need to go on, you know what I'm saying? Go on, get this thing and and you and Dr. Ron and Chris, man, you know.
Well, and why is that, Mike Love? Why?
Because we have a false sense of hope, because we have damaged leadership.
And because we don't have the role models in our neighborhood.
That's right. That's where I'm coming from.
That's a big problem.
A lot of us ain't fortunate enough to have a mom and a dad.
And looking at back when they did the Million Man March, that was one of the battle cries that was issued during that time. Was like, go back to your community, go back to your neighborhood, and be the leadership that our community needs. And some people did that. A lot of people did it. They returned to wherever community they came from, and they started the process of putting organizations together to be able to lead people. But it's easier to go look for foolishness than to go look for positivity.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Why would you go and cut a deal because you're getting paid to create foolishness? Because that's what stars want you to do.
Well, here's the question. Did people watch it? If you go to stars and say, hey, you know what, I want to write something feel good, and they go, well, people may not watch it, and say they give you the green light and nobody watches it because the problem is the demand. People want to see that bullshit. Unfortunately,
and that's the whole point. We shouldn't want to see it.
I agree.
But
I agree.
We're not supporting 50 Cent.
What?
We're not supporting 50 as a filmmaker.
So what are you saying?
Which we're convicted by that. So what do? Do we not support?
You mean conflicted?
Conflicted. That's what I meant. You caught between.
Hey, well, you know what? Hey, a lot of it is. Think about this, and you know what? I'm not a parent. Sorry to cut you off, Ron, but I'm not a parent. But if you're a parent and you have kids that watch this sort of crap, then what's your job? Your job.
I ain't even worried about kids watching that. I'm worried about adults watching.
But if adults are going to try to be Larry Hoover,
they do it every day.
Are they still trying to? Oh, okay.
Ron, go ahead.
I was going to say, as a filmmaker, I would rather support a Spike Lee film with a positive message.
Absolutely.
Because we have had positive black filmmakers.
He ain't rocking it at the box office like that no more.
But the point was, whether he made a dime, he put an important message out there.
Oh yeah, and I love Spike Lee.
And he's done it repeatedly over and over and over again. So you can be a successful, filmmaker, being a Spike Lee. So the prototype for it is already there. Now if you choose to go the other way and do black mafia films, then that was a choice that he made.
Right.
Just like he came out at the beginning of the election talking about I support 45 for re-election. And then talking about I'm just playing.
Who said that?
Your hero.
Who?
50 cent, 25 cents, whatever you want to call it.
Dollars and change.
Well, you know what? And what people jumped all over Ice Cube's ass too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Kanye West.
Yeah.
Well, Kanye's just a clown. You can't really even take what he says or does seriously.
Well,
he's just trying to get publicity. He's trying to get publicity.
It doesn't matter, but you can't
really
let
is a
someone. Yeah, but you can't let someone have a platform without paying attention because it goes back to what you just said 5 minutes ago. Parental guidance. You can't leave him out there.
But
you can't assume.
But if parents talk to their kids, if the kids are willing to listen, because nowadays kids are hard-headed.
Yeah.
But if you teach your kids, say, hey, look, you know what? You know that Kanye West is just full of shit. He's just trying to get, publicity, right? You know that. Just let you know.
It's deeper than telling them. You got to show them.
Show them how.
Well, you have to be an example to your children. See, when you start being an example to your children is when your children start looking at you and say, I want to be like them.
And I agree with that.
But when you're not, and you leave the door wide open for, think about every time you see that trailer that comes on for the Black Mafia family, they say 50 Cent. They hit it hard because they know your kids like 50 Cent. They know young Black Americans think 50 Cent is the S-H-I-T. And I'm not saying he isn't. I know 50 Cent. I like 50 Cent. But my only problem is that you can give me something else. If you got the attention of the people who are making the decision as stars, give them something that's going to challenge them being a network. Because it goes back to what you said. Hold on. It goes back to what you said about ratings. Because we taught you in this business about how important ratings are because you were on the air. Mm-hmm. And so that's the same thing. Yeah, they're going after ratings because they've got proof that there are enough Black folks that'll watch Black Mafia Family, but Black folks will watch some other stuff too if it's something worth looking at.
If it's compelling, right.
If it's compelling, thank you.
But it's ironic. Where would stars be without those shows?
There you go. Power. All of them. They create that, and it's the worst thing for us in the long run.
It saved them, but it saved them.
It,
and they sure is making money.
Yeah, but how many black people did it make rich?
Right.
50.
So what you just said a little while ago, both of you guys emphasized the fact that we need to have more black heroes within our family.
You damn right.
Instead of outside of our family.
Uncle George need to be the damn hero.
That is the best thing that I've heard you say ever.
And that's because you ain't been listening.
Is that right? I've never listened.
But Charles Barkley said it a long time ago. Yeah. Don't look at me as
don't look at me. I ain't your hero.
Right.
I'm not.
Ice Cube said it. Ice Cube said it.
No, but when Charles Barkley said it, it rumbled.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought it was off center. But he was actually correct. I mean, what you just said, giving kudos to Dr. Ron, is the same thing that we should have been doing, because he said, I'm not your hero.
Right.
And Charles Barkley was a very successful NBA player.
Yes, he was.
Ice Cube said, do I look like an MF and role model?
Right.
Yeah.
Are you?
It was a Nike spot. I'm not a role model. Teachers should be role models, for example, in the spot.
Yeah.
And he said, and the cool thing about what we see in, we will call it black cinema, or whether it's stars, something like that, there are a lot to choose from. So, for example, I'm looking forward to, on Netflix, there's a movie coming out by Tessa Thompson called Passing.
Oh, I love
it. Deals with a 1920 situation of white women, or of light-skinned women passing for white in the 1920s.
Is she light enough to pass for white? She's like a caramel.
Say that again, please.
Is she light enough to pass for white? I thought she's like a caramel color. I do love her. I love her though. Anyway, I'm sorry.
She loves you back, I think.
Chris, would you finish, please?
Yeah, thank you. So,
because Buck, you can cuss the hell out, but the words won't come out of his mouth.
That's okay.
And he will not hit the mute button.
Right. It was just like Chris was just looking at him like, and you can see the word. They would.
Yeah, I can't really tell. But you know what, Chris? Your camera looks great tonight. Your picture looks awesome.
Yeah, too late now. Go ahead, Chris.
And your shirt looks great too.
It's almost the end of the goddamn show, and you want to talk about how the camera.
You look great. You look great.
God.
Oh, hell.
I love working with these guys, man. This is incredible.
What?
You got to bring your A game, boy, I'm telling you. So, again, we have these type of varieties. Once again, going back to Tessa Thompson on Netflix with Passing, you had opportunity to go to other forms of media storytelling that you would like. And so you don't care for someone that's, say, for example, power, all the negativity and the gangster stuff, which you're right. It will always sell. It will always sell. But imagine if you didn't have the opportunity to look at other things as well. We're not limited. So it depends on what you like, and it depends on what speaks to you. So it's that, even before that, on social media, with Amazon, Prime Amazon, once again, Tessa Thompson did a story called Sophie's Love that dealt with her and a jazz musician growing up, coming up in the 50s and 60s. So again, when you see these people having different types of stories to tell, because she's also executive producer and a writer, when you look at them working on various projects that does not deal with this quote unquote gangsterism and more money type of thing, I definitely appreciate it. I mean, that's just me. Because having that option, I think just, broadens the perspective of who we are as a people and how we are throughout time.
I'm a sucker for love stories, man. I love movies that are about love.
It's because you're soft.
I am soft. I don't care.
Like me. I love them too.
Yeah, I love stories. And I mean, Chris is hitting the nail on the head. You can't, every time you got the opportunity, well, they're going to give me a chance. They're getting ready to give me a contract. And, they want me to write about, come up with something different. Mm-hmm. It's time for some Lucy and Ricky.
But they know
up in his face.
But they know it sells, though, too.
You know what? If you don't have it, they ain't making no money. So what difference does it make? When do they give back? When do stars give back when all the money they made off of us acting a damn fool with power? Season after season after season. Ghost.
Mona
Ghost
says,
is a brand.
Mona says the adults are the problem and perpetuate to the kids.
She's right. That's what he just said a second ago. Because if the adults don't come into play, and be an example for their children. You should be the adult has to be the example first. I let you watch the TV that I bought and paid for from Best Buy that you are entertained by.
But they are letting the TV raise their kids. Just sit down and watch TV and shut up.
But it's always been that way. When we were, you know, when
I know I used to love Superman.
Yeah, not just Superman, but you know, when parents would be busy, they put you in front of Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, and the pink dinosaur dude, whoever he was,
and Superman.
Yeah, so you know, all of those things were band-aids for not having to deal with your kid, you know, and we're gonna go full circle back around to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. You know, when you look at social media and you see a young mother twerking in front of her 1-year-old child sitting right there on the floor, looking at her clowning for the public, what image does that say to that child at 1?
Well, they're 1. They don't really know.
Please.
Do they? I don't know. I don't have any kids.
Please. But they don't stop when they're 1. Okay? You know, I saw a birthday party when they had a 5 or 6-year-old and he patting his mama on the booty while she danced. Come on now.
That's funny though.
They don't stop.
Yeah, they don't. They really don't.
Because at that point they desensitized to the fact that their child has seen them with their ass hanging out.
Back that ass up, mama. Back that ass up.
But you know, you just hit on something that's pretty remarkable, and you know what? It's that step and fetch it entertainment thing mentality that we always have. If we ain't doing something silly or stupid, we can't get the attention of people. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that you just said that I think is remarkable, that we have to understand really what the entertainment business is. Entertainment ain't shucking and jiving. See, when they put us on, we got to either kill somebody or we got to be funny. We got to be laughing.
We should be more.
I like laughing.
Shucking and jiving. Shucking and jiving.
I like shucking and jiving.
There, but we should be more than that. You know what I'm saying? We should have a serious side. We should have a profound message.
That's right. That's exactly it. You said you loved Obama. I'm sorry, Dr. Ron. Hold on a second. Let me thump this Negro upside his head. You said it was talking about how you like her. You just contradicted yourself.
I could contradict myself.
You just did it. You could do it. You just did it.
We're all walking contradictions. What are you saying? We're
all walking contradictions. What are you saying?
How did I contradict myself?
Because you talked about how phenomenal Obama was and how much you liked him and the example that he's trying to set, that he did set.
Okay.
Don't go backwards. Don't do that.
How did I go backwards, bro?
Because you keep making excuses for foolery. And I do it too. You ain't the only one. We all do it. We all try to come up with a way that says, oh, that's okay to do. No, we need to stop.
Did I say it's okay?
You did.
I might have.
Yeah, you did. That's what I'm saying. I love you. You know I ain't gonna lie on you.
That's true.
And I do it too. That's why I said I'm not gonna sit here and point the finger at you, because when you point the finger, where are these other fingers at? Pointing back at me.
I was about to say, so why am I the asshole? And we all do it.
No, it's not about being an asshole. It's just we have to really be thinking about what we put out there and the stereotypes. You know, when you said earlier that you don't smoke anymore, I stopped smoking in 2001. I'm talking about weed. I ain't talking about Cools and Campbell's.
I don't do that. You smoke Cools?
No, I said I'm not talking about when I say I stopped smoking.
I didn't know you were smoking.
I never smoked cigarettes.
Like cigarettes?
Yeah. But the thing of it is, we lead by example.
Yes. Yes, and that's why our fans come back to check us out week after week, because we're giving them something to look at that's worthwhile.
But Mike, your son has been growing for like 20-something years. Whose example you set now?
I said we.
We in general.
I didn't say me. Just right. We all are created in the likeness of God. I was in Bible study last night and they were talking about.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm in every week.
Awesome.
Okay, you may need to join.
I may. Go ahead. We're listening. What happened?
Well, you kept coming in, backing me up. I thought you may have had something, to say.
No, I was listening.
Ah, okay. I couldn't tell.
He's influenced by the craft.
You
by
really
the
didn't
craft.
finish that
I'm
statement.
just messing with you, Buck. I'm just messing
Look,
with you.
Mike, he's influenced by the craft beer that he likes right now.
Yeah,
It's weak too. It's 8% or 5%, something like that. I'm used to the strong ones, like the 12% beers. It's some bullshit.
The study was called "We Are One" because we're all made in His likeness, and we all are the same, and that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? I mean, as much as everyone tries to create separation, it ain't there.
Right.
You can do it. It ain't there. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 legs, 2 arms, 10 fingers, 10 toes. It's all there.
And why are you whispering? Why are you whispering again?
Because
whispering.
I'm closer to the mic. That's why I'm doing it. Because I'm trying to put you under hypnosis.
I don't think you're talking into the right mic.
Sleepy.
I think the wrong mic is hooked up, but that's okay.
You could be right. I'll double check, because we done changed my settings so much, But the whole point is, in the situation, is that we do have to lead by example. You know what? You're absolutely correct. I wish you had said something earlier. Where's my microphone? You know what? My microphone, I looked in there, Buck, and it only shows the mic for the webcam. It's not showing the
I don't know what's up.
Well, wait a minute. You know what? We changed it. I'm sorry. I was causing that wreaking havoc for everybody else.
There it is.
How is that? Okay, there you go.
At the very end of the show. Good job.
Because you let me go this long. It's your fault.
Okay.
I'm blaming you.
Okay. Well, your other mic was messing up.
Well, you didn't tell me. Why would you let me go this long? You're supposed to love me.
It was the echo. It was
okay, that's why we changed it.
Right.
Are you getting the echo now?
Nope.
Look at Chris and Ron. They like, ooh, they going at it. Look at them.
No.
They're about to kill each other.
I've been at this party before. I know how it goes.
No, but Chris, seriously, your shit looks really good today.
Save us, Chris, because we're starting to ramble now.
And we all got purple. Why don't we all have purple? Is this a purple day?
I don't have purple on.
No, the chair behind you is purple.
My chair is blue.
Oh, it looks purple.
Yeah, it's blue. But I want to say this in wrapping and giving it back to our moderator, Chris Bass. We all are one, and we got to find that oneness. And we one of the reasons that I think Lee brought us all together, is because we all represent something a little bit different. What Buck does, what I do, what Chris does, what Ron does, and Professor. And what we try to do is we have a lot of fun. I mean, we're aware that we at each other and we do all the stuff. Guys, if you're checking us out on Facebook or wherever, we're all friends. And we're having a good time because we're entertaining you, but we're trying to educate you at the same time.
They're trying to educate you. I'm trying to entertain.
Shut up.
That's my job.
Let's go back to the moderator, Chris.
Yes, well thank you very much. And let me just dovetail on Mike Love, and then we'll have closing words and get up out of here. I agree wholeheartedly, going back to our fearless leader, Lee Michaels. I believe chemistry is the key to what we do. And in any situation, we try to bring people together. And we all have a connectability. We all know each other in some way, shape, or form. And there's a synergy that happens. And you can't fake it. You can fake it. I hate the term, fake it till you make it. I think that's just bullshit, because I think you should be genuine from the beginning. And some people just can't do it. I understand why people say it. But I think at the same time, if you're a person who's the embodiment of who you are, the embracement of who you are, you go out there, just leave it on the table, like you're talking about doing radio, for example. You're creating a personality that comes from you, and you go on there and do it, and you're doing it with the music, or my situation, doing it with talk, or what Ron does, and you put it out there and see what happens. And then people gravitate towards it or not. It's a hit or miss. But the people who gravitate toward what you do, they want more, because something you said connected to what they were thinking. And the same with this program that we do every Thursday night is to connect to that one person who's checking us out, to think to say, you know what, I never thought about that, or comment in the comment section, that goes a long way. That's how you build. And Lee, being who he is, the man stays like 18 steps ahead of all of us all the time. Putting this together, he probably heard the show in his mind and said, okay, tell you what, let me put all these people of color together, all different backgrounds. They're all crazy as fuck. Let me put them all together and see what happens. And I think that's where we are right now. I strongly believe that.
I sure wish we had a female on here so I could flirt with her. Just saying.
We were doing just fine.
So I could sexually harass her.
Oh my God.
In fun.
The views and opinions that what Buck Wild just said, take it up with his ass.
I'm kidding. Come on. I don't do that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right.
No, seriously, we have not had a guest on in a long time. Chris, what's up?
Oh, okay, we'll get a guest.
Oh, and I was talking about you getting a guest, like one of your Chicago.
No, you get the guest. You were talking about sexually going after females and stuff.
Hey. I don't know
bring
anybody.
on what's the young lady that's always on with you on the radio? She was down in Florida. Stop looking like you seen a ghost. You know what I'm talking about. Your co-host.
Are you talking about Africa?
Yeah, Africa.
Africa would tell me to kiss her ass so fast.
You probably would.
No, I would not. Not anymore.
You would not? Okay, well, you just.
I did plenty of that back then. Not now.
Okay, great.
She would.
Oh, okay.
Ebony might do it.
Ebony might do it. Ebony be good.
Yeah,
we love you too. Damien said he loves the platform.
Okay, good. I had to put I was about to put my glasses on, but I'm like, thank goodness I don't.
Let's see it.
Don't have to.
And Ross says she keeps raising her hand. What's she asking?
Yeah, what you asking? Yeah, before we
Where's her hand?
Yeah, I know, right?
This ain't Zoom.
That mic is grand, Mona. Okay, well that's Mike. That goes back to that should be MIC love.
Yeah,
I don't think that's what she's saying.
Well, I'm. God damn it, man.
What?
Will you stop using the Lord's word in vain? Stop it.
Yeah. Every time I do like this, it's because of that. By the way, just to let you know, I wasn't going to tell you on air, but you know, it's like fingernails on the chalkboard. But
Are you talking about the microphone?
No, the GD.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's.
But I'm not criticizing, of course.
Okay, sure. All right. From the
Well, she says the mic is grande now, so that's good.
Grande. Okay. There. We'll put it back up there. Okay. So says the person who openly admits he wants to sexually harass women on this show. Okay,
Oh Lord Jesus!
It's called flirting. I don't know if you
to call his name.
I don't know if you guys ever heard of that.
Heard of what?
Flirting. Harmless.
Flirting. Okay. No, I think if once again they're thinking somebody, Buck. But I mean that's on the moderator and I fearlessly.
Yeah, I can't do that because I can't flirt with anybody I already know. It's no fun.
Well, do you think somebody really want to see you get on this platform just to flirt? Well, I thought you were talking about bringing in a female to have a different perspective.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
Ron, bring your eyebrows down, okay?
All right.
Ron's eyebrows was about, when you said his eyebrows, like, wait a minute, like.
My problem is,
y'all know I ain't getting none. Come on.
Look, when you start taking production notes from somebody who's never watched the show before, that's scary.
Oh my God.
I don't get that, but
yeah,
sure
I know.
great.
We'll explain it to you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Oh.
But heading out the door, I hope we have said something on this show that has inspired you and you will carry it to the next level. Just don't show up to watch us do what we do. You become empowered to go do what you do and take it to the next level, because then it's each one reach one. And that makes it more powerful when it happens like that, because we have a long way to go to try and connect the dots from generation to generation. I would love to see some young people grab the mantle from all this wisdom that we bring and be able to, take it and spread it, because it's possible. It's not an impossibility. It's just that you just got to do your part. We're doing ours. We show up every week to do what we do, you know, and it's power. It's gold nuggets that come out of all of our mouths. Well, most of our mouths, not everybody's mouth, but most of our mouths, gold nuggets every week. You know, I didn't
trying to
call,
say. What you
I
trying
didn't call
to
no
say?
names. I didn't call them. Did I call any names, guys?
You probably might as well just look down. You always looking down anyway, though.
But peace and love. See
I
y'all
guess
next
somebody
week.
feeling guilty.
Hey, and we will listen, and we want to see both of you back here next week, same time.
You have been watching Street News Now. SNN, and make sure you go to our YouTube channel, type in SNN Street News Now. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Catch us every Thursday. That's 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Make sure you get a chance to subscribe, like, and share. Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch. Make sure you're part and tell everybody what we do here. For Buck Wild, for Mike Love, for Dr. Ron, for Professor Reggie Miles, and our fearless leader, the Guru Lee Michaels. I'm Chris Bass. Continue to be peaceful. Take care.
Peace out.